Jury's back, y'all may be seated. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Courtroom 55. Once again, were you able to follow the court's instructions? You did no research, you didn't look anything up, no one talked to you, you spoke to no one. If you maybe ran into anybody in the media, did any media speak to you? Did you speak to any media? I see no hands. All right, very good. Statement may begin with openings when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. In May of 2022, 14-year-old Nilexia Alexander had run away from home. It wasn't her first time running away from home. She'd been struggling and acting as immaturely. And in that May of 2022, Nilexia made a decision that ultimately led to her death. Because on May the 6th of 2022, at around 3 a.m., Nilexia Alexander got in the car belonging to that man right there, Ronny Walker. She'd been out on the streets, she'd been wandering around, she was in an apartment complex, and she gets picked up by Ronny Walker. You will see, ladies and gentlemen, video of those last minutes of her life. You will hear how Ronny Walker had been driving around looking for her and found her just blocks away from where he was living. You will see these videos. And you will see Nilexia. You will see her walking around with a cell phone in her hand and a cell phone charger around her neck. The video will show her walking into that little area, down that little alley. And shortly after that, you will see a black car driven by that man, Ronny Walker, pulling into that same location. From a Ring camera at a residence there, you will see Nilexia Alexander get in the car belonging to Ronny Walker. That, ladies and gentlemen, will be the last time she is seen alive. See, that night, Ronny Walker had decided he was going to kill Nilexia Alexander. He found her, he got her in the car, and drove away. You're going to hear that he drove to a convenience store where he bought her a drink. One can only assume that at that time, Nilexia Alexander had no idea what was awaiting her. You're going to hear and see from different cameras this vehicle driven by Ronny Walker driving around at that time of the night into different little neighborhoods, down streets. And it will end up in a neighborhood around Flora, Nebraska and North Highland Avenue. It will end up right next to a vacant field where you see that blue spot. That's a dead-end road in a vacant lot. You're going to see that vehicle pull into there. We have video, ladies and gentlemen, and you will see that car pull into there. The car will turn down onto Flora, Nebraska, drive down to the end of the road. You will see it coming back down Flora, Nebraska, and pause and stop right next to that vacant field. The lights will go off of the car. 50 seconds will pass. The lights will come on, but then immediately the lights will turn back off and the car will drive away with its lights off. During that time, Ronny Walker shot and killed Nilexia Alexander and left her body in that vacant field. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the video you are going to see. And you will see the car. There's a spider web kind of caught in the middle of it, so it misses some of it, but you will see the car turn down that road, turn back up, stop, the lights will go off, 50 seconds will pass, and then you'll see the lights come on, clearly the car being turned back on, and then the lights will immediately be shut off as the car drives away. There the car comes back and stops. Right there is when Nilexia Alexander is being murdered. Lights come back on, lights are off as the car drives away. We learn what happened in that car. We learn that because we are later able to ascertain the identity of the passenger in that car, Robert Quincy Creed. Robert Quincy Creed tells us that at that point when the car stops, Ronny Walker begins to yell at Nilexia and asks her if she's having sex with someone. He's not exactly sure what the whole screaming is about or the argument about, and at that point in time wasn't paying a lot of attention until suddenly he hears a gunshot in the car and looks over and sees Nilexia Alexander holding her chest and sees Ronny Walker holding a silver or a chrome firearm in his hand. Ronny Walker orders Nilexia out of the vehicle after being shot, and she gets out of the car. And Ronny Walker gets out of the car with her. She walks a couple feet away from the car, at which point she is shot 3 more times in the head, one of them within 12 inches of her face. You'll see the stippling to her face, which a medical examiner is going to tell you means that gun was within 12 inches of her face. Intentional, premeditated. Her body's left there on the field, and as you see from that video, the car quickly drives away, lights off. Robert Quincy Creed will tell you that he was sick that night, didn't want to go out, but Ronny Walker insisted that he went with him, that all occurred. He did not know. He will tell you that he believes she was shot in the chest because of the way she was holding her chest. That he did not see how she was shot outside, but he thought he shot two more times. We have audio evidence, ladies and gentlemen, and you're going to hear from another camera the actual shots that occurred and the timing of those shots, which was at 3:08 a.m. And you're going to hear one shot, a significant pause, 4 more shots in rapid succession, another pause, and then another shot. 6 times Ronny Walker shot that gun. Shot her once in that car, and then shot her outside the car, executing her. Now, Robert Quincy Creed, ladies and gentlemen, is an accomplice, as you know. He was charged with accessory after the fact. He has pled guilty to that. And he has a prior felony record. And you're going to hear that his phone had contact with Nilexia at some point in the past as well. We are not here to tell you that Robert Quincy Creed is completely hands off of this. We know he was involved as well. That's why he was charged. Now, going beyond what Robert Quincy Creed says, detectives are out there. They find out a little while later they receive a 911 call. They go out to the scene and they find a body. Nilexia Alexander. At this point in time, they don't know who this body is. They don't know who she is. And you'll see pictures of the crime scene. You'll see pictures of the body of Nilexia Alexander and how she was discovered abandoned in that crime scene. You will see that the detectives at that point go around looking for cameras, and that's when they find this video. So at this point in time, they have a description of a vehicle. They have Nilexia Alexander's body, who they haven't yet even identified. And that's it. And ladies and gentlemen, that may have been the end of it. A case gone cold with the body of a 14-year-old runaway left on a vacant lot. That could have been the end. But it wasn't. Because Nilexia Alexander left a clue. She left a lead for the detectives. Nilexia Alexander left her phone in the back seat of that vehicle. And Ronny Walker didn't know that. So I'm going to come back to that in a moment. But first, ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you quickly about the crime scene. Detectives come out. You're going to hear the investigation that they did at the crime scene. At the crime scene, they find Nilexia Alexander. They don't find a phone, but they find the cord that you saw around her neck in that picture, the charger, and they find a bottle of a drink that she was drinking at the time. They find a shell casing. They find some blood. They don't see much else. Nilexia Alexander is taken to the medical examiner's office where an autopsy is conducted. She is shot once in the shoulder that comes out through around the clavicle area. She's shot 3 times in the head. And again, one of those very close shot. The detective who was running the crime scene, who you will hear from, Detective Aaron Campbell, believes there's got to be something more out at that crime scene. Now remember, when they're doing this crime scene, it's the middle of the night, it's dark. You could see how dark it was in that video. This is a dark, vacant lot. There's no lights. There's nothing to see. So he goes back out there. And when he goes back out there, you're going to hear that he finds 2 more casings. And he also finds 2 projectiles in the ground. All of these casings match up. They were all fired from the same gun. So 4 casings are total of found. So at this point in time, they eventually, because of a tattoo that Nilexia Alexander had on her arm, they're able to identify her. So they start doing some research and investigation, and they find out that a few weeks before, Nilexia Alexander had actually called 911 from a telephone. In that 911 call registers the phone number on that phone. So they began to do an investigation into that phone number. They find something amazing. After Nilexia Alexander has been killed, based on what they've been able to determine as the time that she was shot, her phone continues to move. They're able to follow it for a while and are able to capture some videos of that car moving in specific areas where the phone was moving. That same black vehicle that you saw in that video. And they continue to follow where that phone seems to go on that evening, just after the homicide. And they follow it all the way to a Thornton's on Hillsborough. And at that Thornton, that's the wrong thing. And at that Thornton's, they see that car pull in. And they see this man get out of the car, out of the driver's seat. Ronny Walker. They now have a face. At this point in time, they haven't identified him, but they know that's the car. They know that car is there at the same time that Nilexia Alexander's phone is there. And they now see a gentleman wearing this jacket, which will become important as well, getting gas. They also see someone get out of the passenger side. Again, they can't identify, but they know that there were 2 men in that car. The driver, Ronny Walker, and this passenger, who they will later identify as Robert Quincy Creed. So they continue to follow this phone. It's like a trail of breadcrumbs. And the phone leaves that Thornton's, and it goes to an area near where Nilexia Alexander was when she was picked up. And it's there for a while. Again, at this point in time, they don't know who this is. They know they have a picture of this man. They have a general idea, description. They know the general type of car. But they don't know who he is. But they know that Nilexia Alexander's phone has gone to this other location and it's there for a while. But here's another funny thing. The next day, that phone starts moving again. Ronny Walker still has not found out or figured out that that phone is still in his car. And so they follow it the next day. And sure enough, the next day, drives through downtown Tampa, and they see it go to an area around Tampa General Hospital. The phone does. Nilexia Alexander's phone. And so they were able to pull up Tampa General Hospital's license plate readers. And sure enough, there's a license plate reader there, and they see the car come through, and that license plate reader identifies the owner of that vehicle as Ronny Walker. Now they have a name. So they then attempt to locate Ronny Walker, and they don't find him at first, but they notice that the tag has a thing on it that says Giant Motor Sale. So they realize that it was purchased at a used car dealership, Giant Motor Sale. So they decide to go to Giant Motor Sales to talk to the person there about the purchase and see if maybe it has a locator on it or something. And when they get there, lo and behold, who is there but Ronny Walker himself. Turns out Ronny Walker worked there. Now, by this point in time in the investigation, the phone is no longer pinging. Clearly, the phone had been discovered and discarded. So they get there, and they immediately meet with Ronny Walker, who proceeds to tell them various things that are clearly provable lies. He gives the wrong name of his girlfriend. He indicates someone was with him at Tampa General Hospital who they later find out was not with him. So they continue to their investigation. The car is at the Giant Motor lots. It's clearly impounded and taken into evidence. The car is searched. No phone. Nilexia Alexander's phone is not in that car. And they proceed to look for any evidence in the car. Any blood, anything like that. And you're going to hear from a crime scene investigator who will tell you how they do that. And one of the things they do is this thing called Blue Star, which lights up kind of an ultraviolet light when there is iron or something that could potentially be blood in the car. And sure enough, on the back passenger driver's side, or back seat driver's side passenger, in the little area when you open the door, that little door jamb area, they see what looks to be some sort of substance, and they swab it, and it tests positive for blood. That blood, ladies and gentlemen, is Nilexia Alexander's blood. It was a mixture. It was Nilexia Alexander and Ronny Walker and some other unknown individual. Not Robert Quincy Creed, but some other unknown individual. But Nilexia Alexander was the main one. They also learn that Ronny Walker at that time had a girlfriend by the name of Erica Sweet. He gave a different name for her, Erica Roberts or something, but her name was Erica Sweet. And they learned that he was living with Erica Sweet at the time. And it turns out Erica Sweet was only a couple of blocks from where Nilexia Alexander was picked up. And also, interestingly enough, the phone, Nilexia Alexander's phone, that whole night was in an area associated or where Erica Sweet lives. And Ronny Walker lives. You also hear that another individual comes forward, a man by the name of Stanley Wilson, a man who has a significant prior criminal history. He is a man who sold fake insurance to people. And so he eventually got convicted of selling fake insurance to lots of different people. And so each one of those is a felony, so he has a lot of felonies. But you are also going to hear that at the time he was dating or seeing Ronny Walker's niece. In that he is kind of I don't know if the word is player, but he kind of knows the neighborhood, knows a lot of people, works with a lot of bondsmen. And he will tell you that Ronny Walker approached him one day and said, "Hey, I might need a bond." He initially tells him that Q or Quincy Creed shot a girl. But then he says, "No, man, it's me. I need it from me. I'm the one who shot her. Can you help me out with that?" And he tells Stanley Wilson that he shot her because she had given him an STD, or he believed she had. That was his belief, which he had then given to his girlfriend. The evidence, ladies and gentlemen, will show you that Ronny Walker picked up Nilexia Alexander, drove her to a secluded spot, shot her multiple times, including once in the face at close range, drove to the Thorntons with her phone after committing this murder, drove back home to Erica Sweet's house, where his phone and Erica Sweet's phone, and that's another thing. Erica Sweet had a phone also. Ronny Walker at that time didn't have a phone, but Erica Sweet did. His girlfriend, what he called her wifey. And that night, at 3 a.m., sure enough, Erica Sweet's phone's moving. And it's moving along with Ronny Walker's car. And at a certain point, and you will see video of this, both Erica Sweet's phone and Nilexia Alexander's phone are moving completely together. They're both in the car. And then they both come to stop at the residence of Erica Sweet, where Ronny Walker was staying. Ronny Walker tried his best to clean his car, but missed some blood. And that blood connects to Nilexia Alexander and proves she was shot in that vehicle before getting out and ultimately shot in that vacant field. All of the evidence, ladies and gentlemen, points to Ronny Walker in that car. A car that on May the 6th of 2022, Nilexia Alexander made the wrong choice to get into. And ladies and gentlemen, at the conclusion of this case, the state is convinced that you will make the right choice and find Ronny Walker guilty as charged of first-degree premeditated murder.